Let me see. Oh, so what do you want me to go?
Yeah, the broadcast has started.
Right?
Yeah. Started? Okay.
Like this? Yeah. Wait.
Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We would like to welcome His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami Maharaj for our sessions today at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. And we are very fortunate to have him visit ISB. Always he comes along with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So this year he's also traveling, and just he traveled from Atlanta today morning. He is also based out in ISKCON Vrindavan, Krishna Balram Mandir, as a co-president, and there are various zonal supervisor in other areas, especially Philippines, and he preaches USA, Canada, Mauritius, Russia, South Africa, and various places. So his profile is there. Please have a look. And without going forward, I will again, devotees, whoever is there, please unmute and give a big warm welcome by saying Hari Bol. Please.
Hari Bol.
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 Thank you very much, Maharaj. All yours.
Hare Krishna. So happy to be amongst you all today. This is like an opportunity for me to be amongst you all. It's not that every day or every year we come here. The last 3 years we didn't have any chance to come. We used to travel with our Guru Maharaj, and he's still coming, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, but maybe a little bit later on. I would like to chant first before starting this program. And yes, I don't know, maybe I'll speak in Bhagavad Gita or...
Yeah, that's fine.
Huh? Is that okay?
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita is fine.
Tomorrow is Shiva Pandit's appearance day, but I didn't know just now. So
You can speak a little bit.
okay, we can speak a little bit of Shiva Pandit. I'm gonna read from whatever notes I have here. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay.
Hari Bol.
Good. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Bhallabha Giribharadhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Bhallabha Giribharadhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana
Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana
Yasodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana
Janardana Janardana
Yasodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana
Janardana Janardana
Yamuna Tira Palchari
Atira
Yamuna Tira Palchari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Giridhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Giridhari Yasodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Valachari Yamuna Tira Valachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe
Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe
Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe
Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe
Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranita 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 Jaya Gauranita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Prabhupada Sasavita Charanga Vasaranga Pati Namaha Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Niti Namine Prabhupada Sasavita Prakasha Vidiriyacha Pracharam Kitavan Sadhu Bhagavat Padayate Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschachate Satarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurung Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sibisakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavanispari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pabhanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Can I borrow your Bhagavad Gita? As it is. And can you give me some paper towel, some tissue or something, please? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, this evening we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 3. This is Karma Yoga. We start from text 36. See how far we can go. This is 36 to 43. There's about seven slokas. Yes. The last 7 slokas. This especially explains about the biggest challenge biggest challenge that one can have. Dhanyavad. So I'll recite the verse, and we have some devotees here, Balaram Prabhu, Avai Prabhu, and Balimardan Prabhu. And see if we can recite all of us here. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Atakena prayuktoyam.
Athakena prayuktoyam.
Papam charati purusha.
Papam charati purusha.
Anichan api varshneya.
Anicham api varshneya.
Balad iva niyojita.
Balahiva niyojita.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Atakena prayuktoyam.
Athakena prayuktoyam.
Papam charati purusha.
Papam charati purusha.
Anicham api varshneya.
Anicham api varshneya.
Balad iva niyojita.
Baladiva niyojitaha.
Can you write? Recite.
Recite. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Athakena prayuktayam.
Atakena prayuktoyam.
Papam charati purushaha.
Papam charati purusha.
Anicham api varshneya.
Anicham api varshneya.
Baladiva niyojitaha.
Baladiva niyojita. Yes.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Athakena prayuktoyam.
Athakena prayuktoyam.
Papam charati purusha.
Papam charati purusha.
Anichannapi varshneya.
Anicham api varshneya.
Baladiva niyojita.
Baladiva niyojitaha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Athakena prayuktoyam.
Athakena prayuktoyam.
Papam charati purusha.
Papam charati purusha.
Anicham api varshneya.
Anicham api varshneya.
Baladiva niyojita.
Baladiva niyojita.
Word for word meaning. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna said.
Arjuna said.
Atha.
Atha.
Then. Kena.
Kena.
By what?
By what?
Prayukta.
Prayuktaha.
Impelled.
Impelled.
Ayam.
Ayam.
One. Papam.
Papam.
Since.
Charati.
Thus.
Thus.
Purusha. A man. Anichan. Without desiring.
Without desiring.
Api.
Api.
Although. Vaishneya,
Vaishneya,
O descendant of Vrishni,
O descendant of Vrishni,
Balat,
Balat,
by force,
by force,
Iva,
Iva,
as if,
as if,
Niyojita,
Niyojita,
engaged.
engaged.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna said, O descendant of Bharata, of Vrishni, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Everyone please repeat. Arjuna said,
Arjuna said,
O descendant of Vrishni,
O descendant of Vrishni,
by what is one impelled
By
by what is one impelled
to sinful acts,
to
to sinful acts,
even unwillingly,
even unwillingly,
as if engaged
as
as
if
if
engaged
engaged
by force?
by force?
Purport. A living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme is originally spiritual, pure, and free from all material contaminations. Therefore, by nature, he is not subject to the sins of the material world. But when he is in contact with the material nature, he acts in many sinful ways without hesitation, and sometimes even against his will. As such, Arjuna's question to Krishna is very sanguine as to the perverted nature of the living entities. Although the living entity sometimes does not want to act in sin, he is still forced to act. Sinful actions are not, however, impelled by the supersoul within, but due to another cause, as the Lord explains in the next verse. Arjuna uvacha atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha anichang api varsneya balad iba niyojita. So Arjuna is questioning here Lord Krishna that there is something that push the living entity, even though it is unwilling to do it. It's like, what is this? We act in sinful ways even though we don't want to, but still we want to do it. Even it's against our will. It's very difficult to control. It's like completely like uncontrolled. Because originally, the living entities, as Prabhupada says here, they are spiritual in nature. That means they're full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity, and free from material contamination. But having come in contact with the material energy, we become contaminated. We become subject to the sins of the material world. We already mentioned that also before. Just like drops, rainwater coming from the rain cloud. When it's from the top or when it's still in the rain cloud, it's pure, it's clear. But when it comes in contact with the material energy, it becomes muddied, it becomes colored. So the original nature of the rain, which is crystal clear, becomes colored, muddied. So when the living entities come in contact with the material energy, they become covered up by the modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. And therefore, he acts in many sinful ways. And he does it without hesitation. That means he just keep going. But after some time, a person who performed these sinful activities, he may feel guilty. He thinks that, when am I doing this? Of course, those who are habitual in performing sinful activities, then they're not able to realize that what they're doing is wrong. But a person who has a little bit of intelligence, he will say, why I cannot stop doing this? What is it that pushing me to do it even though I don't want to do it? Sometimes a criminal will be caught, and then he will be in the court, and the judge will ask him, you plead guilty or not guilty? And he says, not guilty. Why? Well, the devil made me do it. Is it like that means, or sometimes they will say, oh, I plead not guilty due to insanity, due to craziness. So, yes. What is it that makes us, because we have this minute independence, but that minute independence can be misused. Even though the Paramatma, Prabhupada says here, the super soul from within is not really saying, okay, you can do it, okay, if you like to do it. And ultimately, the question is the super soul really like pushing us to do it? No. The Paramatma is giving us warning, don't do it. It's like, it's given an example, two birds sitting in a tree. It's like here, you can hear the birds. So two birds sitting in a tree, one is Paramatma and one is Jiva Atma. The Atma, Jiva Atma, would like to taste the fruits in the tree. That means fulfill the sense enjoyment. But the Paramatma says, no, don't do it. This is not good for you, because there's going to be a reaction. Reaction is that instead of enjoying, yes, you may enjoy the fruits, but later on you will suffer due to not following me. But the Jiva Atma says, no, I'm not going to listen to you. Let me do it. Because we have this minute independence. So, the problem here is, even though sometimes it is against our will to do things, why is it that as if something is pushing us to do it? Krishna will answer in the next verse. What is it? So Krishna now will reply. I will just read the translation so that we can go. We'd like to finish the whole this preceding verses, because it's a complete, because this is our greatest challenge. We're fighting with something that we don't know what we are fighting for. It's like almost invisible, but it is there within us because we have come in contact with the material energy. In the spiritual world, this doesn't exist, only in the material world. Because in the material world, everything is contaminated. Nothing is pure here, except the holy name and the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord, whom we worship, and we can develop our original Krishna consciousness. We can recover our original Krishna consciousness. We can revive. Okay, next text. This is the reply now from Arjuna's question. What is it that one is impelled to sinful activities even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? It's like no choice. It's like you're there already, you want to get out of it, but still you could keep doing it, even though you may have a little bit of realization that this is wrong. That's like, why is it that the thief will go and rob someone's house knowingly that he will get caught? So why is it that he still would like to enter without permission, break-in entry, steal, and he knows that there is police. There is a lot of, there's a law that can catch him. Is it still going it? Okay, now we're going to read about it. Text 37. Shivagavan ubacha kama esha kroda esha rajaguna samudbaba mahashano mahapapma bidhi enam iha vairinam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion, and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world." Devouring is like eating, right? Purport. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion. So, we have this love for Krishna, but then it becomes covered up, coming in contact with the material nature, especially in this mode of passion and ignorance, and it's transformed into lust, greed. Krishnadas Kaviraj compare this love to gold and lust into iron. Both are made of metal, but the other one is more precious, love. And Prabhupada says the closest example of what is love, because it doesn't exist in the material world. Love only exists with Krishna. But the best example, the closest one that he gave to us, is that love of the mother to the child. Because the love of the mother to the child is unconditional. Here in the material world, when we say love, is not really love, it's lust. It's like, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. I do this for you, but I want something in return. That is, love means I do anything and everything for you because I love you. I care for you. And it doesn't matter, even if you don't reciprocate. The mother is not thinking, okay, when my child grows up, I think he's gonna return what I'm giving him to him right now. She never expect anything in return. So a love for Krishna, the devotee's love for Krishna is like that. And the topmost love, the one that we should follow in the footsteps that they have, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, is the love of the gopis, the Brajabasis, but especially the love of the gopis. Because the love of the gopis, they never want anything in return from Krishna. They just want to serve him. They just want to love him. And they will even run away from home in the middle of the night when they hear Lord Krishna's flute. They will sacrifice everything. They will break moral principles. They don't care whether they're like he says that they're with their husbands, with their parents, with their children. They will run away. But that is so high, it's very difficult to understand. So love is there, but it only relates between the devotees and Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna reciprocates to his devotees, the devotees' love. In the material world, if one cannot fulfill one's sense pleasure, sense desire, the desire for sense enjoyment, one of them will just go away. One of them will run away. That's why there are many divorce. They cannot fulfill their sense enjoyment with each other. So that is lust. Or in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust. Because we come in contact with the material energy. We become covered up. We become an illusion. as milk in contact with sour tamarind is transformed into yogurt. It becomes sour. Milk is such nice. But yogurt is nice also. I like yogurt. But it's not, the effect of milk is different though. Milk is when you drink, especially hot, and it's from cows, pure cow's milk. Unlike nowadays, it's very difficult to find pure cow's milk even in Vrindavan. And then you put a little bit of sugar. It's food for the brain. Prabhupada says it makes your brain tissues become refined to understand more spiritual subject matter. But then when it comes contact with sour tamarind, is transformed into yogurt. Yogurt is nice also. You like yogurt, right? You like yogurt? I like yogurt also. But it's not the same. And from yogurt you can make many things also. Then again, when lust is unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. Wrath is more severe. There's what we call upset, then anger. When one is upset, it's not so much. When one is angry, it's a little higher. But when it's in wrath, that means one becomes mad. One becomes in delusion. One doesn't know what is right and what is wrong. When it comes into this part, it's like even between lovers, they will kill the beloved. Isn't it? How can you love someone and then you kill that person? That is wrath. That means like, because jealousy is there. This happens in the material world. And then it is transformed into illusion. And illusion continues the material existence. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of the living entity. And it is lust only which induces the pure living entity to remain entangled in the material world. Now, when we say lust, it could be of three types. Lust means the desire for woman, the opposite sex. That means for the man, woman is the woman. And for the woman, man is the woman. Okay, what means opposite sex? And then there's another type, wealth. People are greedy for wealth, for money. As Prahlad Maharaj says, money, 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 sweeter than honey. Because people are impelled to gain money to survive, or to have their family be satisfied. Again, for sense enjoyment. Without money, one cannot enjoy. People, they go to church, temples, or synagogues to pray to God to have money. Usually, they ask for money so that they can fulfill the kama, dharma, artha, kama. That means their lust. Again, kama. In English, that is the closest synonym for kama, means lust. And then there is another type of lust, which is prestige, position. If one is in a high position, he wants more and more higher position, materially, and he wants to remain there even though he's already old. He cannot perform what he's meant to be. It's like most of the leaders nowadays in our society, they're already old. You know, the dictators in some countries, they don't have presidents, they have dictators. Tyranny. It's like Putin. For example, what kind of person, I'm sorry to say, killing all the innocent people in Ukraine for what? To say that this belongs to Russia before, so we want it back to be in Russia. Who cares? This is not yours. This is God's, and they don't mind killing so many innocent people. So that is the most difficult to give up. Sometimes sannyasi, they don't want to give up their position also. They can give up the desire for the opposite sex. They can renounce money, but sometimes they cannot renounce. If they're in a position, they cannot give it up. Especially Mayavadis. So that is due to one's false ego. So that keeps us, the living entity, to remain entangled in the material world. Just like Prahlad Maharaj gave an example. It's like a a cocoon. He will create its own
Silkworm.
Yeah, silkworm. Silkworm creates a cocoon, but the silkworm cannot get out. It gets entangled. It says in the 7th canto, 6th chapter, Prahlad Maharaj instructs his demoniac schoolmates. So we create our own, it's like in English it says also, we create our own graveyard, or we dig our own hole that you cannot get out. And especially because the teachings in the Bhagavatam and teaching in Bhagavad Gita is similar, but especially in Grihastha life, the main reason why one is becoming more and more entangled, especially in householder life, family life, if there is no Krishna consciousness, is compared to a dark well. You are in dark well. And a dark well, deep dark well, is like as if you are blind because you cannot see, and you have to get out in order to survive. And that's the main thing. They work hard. The husband will work hard just for a little bit of sense pleasure. Prabhupada says they will go to work early in the morning. They will drive for 100 miles and come back in the evening 100 miles again. And the children are sleeping when he comes back, and the children are still sleeping when he leaves home. So there's no time. But it doesn't matter. He will risk everything for livelihood, just to fulfill his material desire, especially lust. Therefore, wrath is the manifestation of the mode of ignorance. Though these modes exhibit themselves as wrath and other corollaries. If, therefore, the mode of passion, instead of being degraded into the mode of ignorance, is elevated to the mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting, then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. This is what Prabhupada says, we should be at least in the mode of goodness. Being in the mode of goodness means...
Question, Maharaj.
Yes.
So, this is combination. Lust is a combination with the mode of passion, Rajaguna. Then it is transferred into
Wrath. Then ignorance.
That is ignorance.
Yeah.
So,
because you become bewildered. You will not be able to fulfill the lust. Then you become bewildered now.
because it's a hierarchy, like, so what is there anything beyond mode of passions, which is the origin of lust, means in mode of goodness, which is converted lust in mode of passions again, and then it became wrath, which is mode of ignorance. So is there anything which is in mode of goodness, which is the foundation for the lust to develop? Or
Does misidentify? No, there is no from goodness. No, Prabhupada says even good is not good enough in the material world. Good means it's not really good because there is a mixture. There is no pure goodness in the material world. Only when one acts in Krishna consciousness. So our sense of goodness is mixed with passion and ignorance also. So it doesn't originate from goodness to become lusty. Originally we're pure, as we've read, but we come in contact with the material energy. So that means these three modes is like intertwined with each other. You cannot just have come in contact with only goodness, because there's no really goodness. There's always some motivation. People, they act as if in the mode of goodness. It's like to give charity to the poor, but they want recognition. To feed the poor, they want to be known. You're doing seemingly is in a mode of goodness, but as soon as you want some recognition or in return, that becomes passion.
so my second question is, how from lust wrath is produced? Generally, from lust you get more frustration, rejection,
That is the same.
or
You become angry. Where does anger comes from? From when you are not able to fulfill your desire. And because lust cannot be fulfilled, it's like fuel, or it's like a fire. You try to increase the fire by putting petrol. It just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. It cannot. Greed and lust, they're like, or anger. Greed and anger like sisters. When you become greedy, you become angry also, because you cannot fulfill, you cannot be satisfied your greed. And greed is synonymous again with lust. Lust means you're greedy. You're greedy for lusty for money is the same as like greedy for money. Lusty for women means you're greedy for women. Lusty for position, that means you're greedy for your position. It's like synonymous. Lust is like a higher degree of greed.
which is subtle.
It's like it's more difficult to attain, which is like, you go a little bit one notch higher, but then it is subtle. Like like so many rich people, billionaires, what they gonna do with their money? But they want more and more and more, because again they want prestige, which is the most difficult to give up.
Thank you.
Huh?
I said thank you.
Yeah. What's up? Bali Maharaj gave Bhamana 3 steps of land, and he was saying, what is 3 steps of land? This will never fulfill you. This is nothing. And he's a dwarf. 5-year-old boy, dwarf. Says, even if for a greedy person, even if you give the entire universe, he will not be happy. He still want more. You already have the entire universe, and because one is greedy, cannot satisfy. This is lust. This is lust. This is like want more and more and more and more. Okay? Next. So only Prabhupada says to get out of this, at least we should be in the mode of goodness. It's like performing our sadhana in the morning, getting up early, Brahma Muhurta hour. That is a mode of goodness. Brahma Muhurta hour means mode of goodness, like an hour and a half before sunrise, performing Mangalarti, doing puja, chanting our rounds early. That's why it is best to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra early in the morning, because as the day passes by, then the modes of passion starts to develop, and the modes of ignorance. It's like 10 o'clock at night. That is the peak time of modes of passion and ignorance. In nightclub, 10 o'clock is the happy hour. They call it happy hour, but that is like hellish hour now. Nightclubs, that's the peak time. It's like at nighttime, Friday night, you see more people like at night, because that's the best time for them to so-called enjoy, but flickering happiness. The Supreme Personality of God had expanded himself into many for his ever-increasing spiritual bliss, and the living entities are parts and parcels of this spiritual bliss. So Krishna, even though he's already self-satisfied, who can be? He's God, he's complete. But still, to expand his ever-increasing spiritual bliss, he created us to enjoy. Just imagine yourself, you're alone. Of course, Krishna is never alone. That's why he's with the cows, with his flute. But still, he created these parts and fragmental parts like us. They also have partial independence, but by misuse of their independence, when the service attitude is transformed into the propensity for sense enjoyment, they come under the sway of lust. So this is the problem. We were given this minute independence, and because of not knowing the knowledge, not having the knowledge to properly use this intelligence, or the intelligence to properly use this minute independence, we get into trouble. That's why the Shastra is there, is given to us by the Supreme Lord. So we can base our judgment, so we can base our decision. Because Shastra is considered what? Shastra Chakshu? Or is it Shastra Chakshu?
One who knows all Shastra.
Huh?
One who knows all Shastra.
Yeah, Shastra Chakshu means through the eyes of the scriptures we should see. They also have partial independence, but by misuse, they come under the sway of lust. This material creation is created by the Lord to give facility to the conditioned souls to fulfill these lustful propensities. This material creation is created by the Lord to give facility to to fulfill these lustful propensities. And when completely baffled by prolonged lustful activities, the living entities begin to inquire about their real position. This is how Krishna created the material world, to facilitate the conditioned souls to fulfill their lusty desires. And one may say, lusty desire is our greatest enemy. Why will Krishna give the facilities so that we can experience that lusty propensities? So that we will learn, because ultimately the material world is the learning ground. Krishna created it so that ultimately we will learn our lesson. And when we realize that, hey, I cannot really be happy fulfilling my material desires, let me find ways how to get out of this situation, then Krishna will send his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, to make it complete. It's like sometimes for the child, he wants to touch the fire, and the father says, no, don't touch. You will get yourself burned. They say, okay, if you really want, okay, you do it. And then he will touch and he'll get burned. And then next time there's the fire, now the child should understand that he should not put his finger in the fire to teach the lesson. Prabhupada gave an example when one of his children, he wanted to touch the electric fan, the fan. The fan is still going, but he unplugged the fan, right? So he said, okay, you want to touch, but it's not so fast. So he touched a little bit, then he got hurt a little bit, right? And then after some time, he says, okay, you can touch. The boy doesn't want to touch anymore. So, this is our position. Krishna is so kind, is so merciful, and at the same time, he's giving the facilities for everyone. What is it? What's that?
Jai
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Not like Vrindavan. Vrindavan. Touch the Lord's body, it has smell from the Lord. But the rose doesn't have a smell, but after touching the Lord's body, then it became, he has some smell now. In Vrindavan, isn't it? The rose or the flowers. So here is artificial. You have to put perfumes so that the flowers will get smell. So, yes. The material world is created for us so that we will learn that we cannot be really happy here. Be happy here. The original cause, that's why it says that why we are still in the material world is because we wanted to be happy, separate from Krishna. We wanted to be happy, separate from the Lord. But that cannot be happen. That cannot be fulfilled if we are in spiritual world. So the material world was created not because Krishna wanted it to be. We're the cause why the material world is here. It's like a kid wants to play, okay? He wants to play, but you cannot play inside the house. I'm gonna build you a seesaw outside. I'm gonna build you a slide outside. But then after some time, we'll understand that I cannot really be happy here. Then that's the only time that he becomes eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you cannot force anyone to come to Krishna consciousness. It is out of one's... when he comes to the point that he really wanted to find a solution for this so-called happiness to end, then Krishna will send his pure representative. Then he will inquire about his real identity. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? Is there life after death? Is there another world besides this which is full of miseries? I remember when I was a kid, like around 14, 15 years old, I was asking this kind of questions. And I was, because I was brought up in Roman Catholic religion, I was reading the Bible, but I cannot find the answer there. It doesn't give me any satisfaction from what I'm reading. So it's only when I read Prabhupada's books and Back to Godhead magazine. In the Philippines, we have this magazine called Haribol.
Haribol.
Yeah, that was published by one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, Jagat Guru. He became a sannyasi. Not the Jagat Guru Swami. He's different. He joined in Hawaii. He was a yoga instructor. So he has a lot of followers in the Philippines. Haribol magazine. And in the Haribol magazine, I used to buy it from the newspaper magazines, newsstands. This inquiry is the beginning of the Vedanta Sutras, wherein it is said, Atato Brahma Jignasa. One should inquire into the Supreme And the Supreme is defined in Shrimad Bhagavatam as Janmadi Ashayataha Nyayat Itaratascha, or the origin of everything is the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, the origin of lust is also the Supreme. If, therefore, lust is transformed into love for the Supreme, or transformed into Krishna consciousness, or in other words, desiring everything for Krishna, then both lust and wrath can be spiritualized. Sometimes says also that the love of the gopis towards the Supreme Lord is compared to lust, because they love him so much but that lust is not the same as the material lust. That means excessive wanting of something is called lust. So they want Krishna so much, to be with Krishna, to serve Krishna. Sometimes it is considered as lust, but it's not really lust. So that's why it is the origin of lust is also the Supreme. So yes, Prabhupada says that we have to transform. Everything can be transformed into Krishna consciousness. Even this lust, material greed, transfer it to like the propensity, developing love towards the Supreme Personality of God. Everything can be dovetailed into Krishna consciousness. Lust, the 6 enemies: lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. Except envy, that we cannot dovetail to Krishna consciousness. That we cannot. And Prabhupada says, the reason why we're still in the material world is because we're still envious. And being envious of a devotee means being envious of Krishna. Devotees, we are not envious of the materialist, are we? No. The materialist, Prabhupada says, the whole world is envious of each other. Everyone is envious of each other. Now the materialists may be envious of the devotees. They will say, hey, why are they always happy? Why are they always like, chanting? why they always like, it seems to be like they're always like happy. They have so many cars, they have nice food. Why are they like this? But they don't want to join. Now, the devotees supposed to be not envious of the materialist. We should not be envious. But why is it that the other devotees are envious of another devotee? Envious means you have something that I don't have, and I want to have like what you have, but in a higher degree. That is envy. It's like, if the neighbor has Maruti, I want to have I want to have a Hyundai or something. If the other neighbor has Hyundai, then maybe I want a Toyota. Or if the other neighbor has a Toyota, then I want, a little bit. This is envy. And sometimes envy is like, I will do anything and everything just to be on top of you. Again, that is envy. So, everything can be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness, even anger. Like Hanuman. Hanuman is angry, right? Against Ravana. If we're gonna be mad, the whole world is mad about the material energy, we should also be mad for Krishna. We should be greedy for Krishna. This is how we can attain Krishna consciousness. Greedy for Krishna means wanting to do more and more service. Wanting to not just service to Krishna, but service especially towards his devotees. Lust can be transformed into love. Greed for money can be transformed, whatever we have, give to Krishna. We can be angry also. Prabhupada says, if the devotees are being blasphemed, then we can also be angry. Prabhupada says, he was telling to some reporters, he was saying, see him, Brahmananda, if I tell him to kill you, he will kill you. Well, he will tell him, if you're blaspheming the Lord, right? He told us also in Vrindavan to have guns, because there's a lot of gundas there. One time I was in Goshala, because I used to live in Goshala, and in the middle of the night there was a truck full of gundas, and they stole our cows. They broke the wall along the Parikrama Marg, and then they took some of our cows, and we cannot do anything. They have guns. So Prabhupada says you should have guns. We will do it. We can use anger for Krishna to protect Krishna's property or the devotees. Lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion. One can be in illusion, materially in illusion. One can be also in spiritual Maya, Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. So, Hanuman. This is a good example. I didn't read it. Hanuman, the great servitor of Lord Ram, exhibited his wrath by burning the golden city of Ravana. But by doing so, he became the greatest devotee of the Lord. Here also in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord induces Arjuna to engage his wrath upon his enemies for the satisfaction of the Lord. Therefore, lust and wrath, when they are employed in Krishna consciousness, become our friends instead of our enemies. Same. Everything can be dovetailed. Is there any question there from the listeners there? Or we can gonna continue? Haribol, our monitor here. Are you there or somewhere?
I don't know. No one raised a hand. They can ask questions if they want.
Well, while I'm speaking, you also try to compose a question here. I can keep going on and on. You tell me where can I stop.
So probably, is there anyone in the online also?
Online, there's so many. How many? There's
So-
14 devotees there online, right?
In Zoom, no, but
In
like
Zoom,
YouTube
on
and
YouTube also. Is this on YouTube?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Let me check in YouTube if we have.
So you can ask if there's any question,
others.
because we mentioned many things already. We're gonna go deeper and deeper and deeper. You're probably gonna go forget everything what I said.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have any questions on YouTube, Prabhu. But definitely from the Zoom chat, people have questions they can ask.
Okay, they can raise their hands. Hare Krishna. This is a very interesting subject. Now we know who is our enemy. Number one, lust. And when we go further, there are hiding places of this lust. If we know the enemy, we should know where to find the enemy so that we can get rid of this enemy. Right? And later on, this enemy is hiding in so many places, like the senses, especially the mind. And the intelligence also. If the intelligence is not sharp, if the intelligence not be able to know what to do and what not to do, because our senses are imperfect, we have imperfectness, we have a tendency to be illusion. Our senses are imperfect, we have to cheat, we have a tendency to cheat, and we have a tendency to commit mistakes. So we cannot trust ourselves. But based from the Guru, Sadhu and Sastra, we can base our judgment. Is there any
Maybe give
question?
some reflection also.
Yeah, reflection. If you don't have any question, reflection. Anything that we... Oh, there is a question. My dear monitor, you are...
That is the question, Prabhu. Does an intelligent man's intelligence can control our body?
What do you mean control our body? Ask this person.
Maybe we can unmute and ask.
Darshan Mohan Prabhu, do you want to come online and ask the question?
Yeah, I was thinking that,
What is
that
Go ahead.
Okay.
I was thinking that since we, that our brain could control our body, like and our senses, but I was thinking that can intelligence do that, because intelligence can help us also, like when we go and you'll have intelligence and knowing with the Vedas and
Yeah.
but
Yes.
can intelligence like come to our body and like control us, like add material desires to it?
Yeah, we have to sharpen our intelligence by reading the Bhagavad Gita and Shrimad Bhagavatam. We can make the decision. Intelligence, the function of intelligence is to know what is right and what is wrong. And if we have to base our decision from Guru, Sadhu and Sastra, by basing our decision to do what is not proper and what is not proper based from the Guru, Sadhu and Sastra, then we'll be able to tell our senses, oh, don't do this. We can tell our mind, don't think anything besides Krishna. Our senses are wild, uncontrolled, and we can control the senses through the mind, but the mind is lower than the intelligence, and higher than the intelligence is the soul. Okay? So we have to base everything. Proper intelligence means using everything for Krishna's pleasure. Like we also use our legs, but we go to the temple. We use our eyes to see the Lord or His devotees. We use our sense of smell by smelling the fragrant flower offered to the Lord or the incense. So using everything for Krishna is the proper use of intelligence. The senses and the body. And the mind. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Very intelligent question.
Hare Krishna Swamiji, there are questions in YouTube. Some
Okay,
questions.
Prabhu.
Yeah, I will ask them. So there's one question: how to choose a guru?
How to choose a guru? You don't go in the internet and look for all these gurus. No. When you're ready, Krishna will send you the right person. Okay? For now, for the beginners, you read Prabhupada's books, and from Prabhupada's books, you will find out who is guru. What is the criteria of bona fide spiritual master? No one can tell you that he is your guru. No one can say, I think he is your guru. You should choose him as your guru. No. Paramatma will show you who is your guru. And usually, the one who will inspire you the most to perform bhakti, to chant Hare Krishna, that is your guru. But there are different levels of guru again. There is a Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, Bhartma Pradakshina Guru. Bhartma Pradakshina Guru means the person who introduced you to Krishna. Now, he may not be a Diksha Guru. It's like, he could be anyone. He could be anyone, even a child. If a child tells you that Krishna is God, We should worship Krishna. He is your Bhartma Pradakshina Guru. Because she is the one, or he is the one who first introduced you to Krishna consciousness. Now there is a Diksha Guru. He's the one who gives the mantra. At the time of initiation, he gave the mantra to the aspiring disciple so that the mantra will have the potency. But in the beginning, when someone tells you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that is good. That doesn't mean he's your guru, but there is a formality that comes when at the time of initiation. So for now, you keep chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, pray to Krishna, especially to Balaram, because he's the Adi Guru, to show you who is your guru. And when you're ready, Guru is always ready, Krishna is always ready, but we are not ready. So when we become ready, you will meet your guru. Okay?
So Prabhuji, there is another question we have in YouTube.
Yes,
Maharaj,
Prabhu.
yes, Prabhu. Maharaj, how do we get association of devotees if they are envious?
Well, give respect to all the devotees, even the envious devotees, but don't take their association. Keep distance from them. But give respect, because even the worst devotee is better than the best karmi. Okay? He's not worse, but he's trying. We all have envy in our hearts. That's why we're still here. We have to cleanse that by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, eating Krishna Prasad. So, yes, you don't take their association, but you must be very careful. If you can give your association, if you're more advanced than that devotee, you give your association. Don't take their association. And if you, let's say you are near them, and they start to criticize devotees, you can tell that devotee, I'm sorry, Prabhu, I like your association, but I don't want to hear any criticism of anybody. If you're going to continue this, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to go away. I'm going to see you later.
I think, Maharaj, there is a follow-up question on that.
Oh,
From the same person.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, when a devotee accuses you of your character, how do we give respect?
A what?
When a devotee accuses you of your character, how do we give respect?
What do you mean accuse of me of what? Give an example.
Yeah, I don't know.
If he accused me of a pure devotee, I will tell him I'm not a pure devotee.
So
If
accuse you of character as you are stealing sweets from temple or something like that.
Oh, then I will give you. No. If someone accuses you and it is not true, why are you gonna get angry? Accept. Maybe you can tell that person, Prabhuji, I'm trying to improve. No one should be judged. Only Krishna and the spiritual master. No one can judge anybody here. Because as soon as you judge, you commit an offense. Because you don't know. Only Krishna knows who we are and the Guru. Okay, so if you accuse me and it is not true, why should I be angry? If you accuse me and it is true, I will say, Prabhu, thank you. I will try to improve myself. Okay.
So Prabhuji, do you want to, Swamiji, do you want to continue, or there are questions on the YouTube?
Prabhuji, as long as you want me to speak, I will continue.
So
Get more questions. Get more questions.
Yeah, so more questions.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Maharaj Dandavat, can you please explain spiritual envy with an example?
A what?
Spiritual envy.
Oh,
An example.
like the gopis, there is no spiritual envy. It is called spiritual competition. Envy doesn't exist in the spiritual world. Competition. But their competition is such that if one, let's say, know how to cook nicely for Krishna, let's say how to cook nice pizza, something like, or nice sabji, okay. One will ask, how can I cook like that? I want to cook also this very nice sabji for Krishna. So that person may approach that other devotee who knows how to cook nice sabji. Now that nice devotee who cooks very nice sabji, he will say, yes, Mataji, I will show you the secret. I will show you the secret. Because this is spiritual platform. Prabhupada taught Yamuna Mataji how to cook. Okay, and she is like the best cook ever in ISKCON. She even wrote this, what's that? The thick book. Are you ready?
The higher test?
No. Your taste is like this. You know, it's like encyclopedia of vegetarian cooking. So Prabhupada says to Yamuna Mataji, now I showed you how to cook. You learn how to cook now. But you should also teach others how to cook. Because if you don't, you will become envious. In spiritual life, we don't keep any secret. The more we give others, the more we help others advance in Krishna consciousness, we become dearer and dearer to Lord Krishna. So there is no spiritual envy. There is no example. Okay, there is a spiritual competition. Who can, like the cowherd boys, their competition is who can touch Krishna. Who can touch Krishna first? So everyone is running after Krishna. So that is their competition. Okay?
Prabhuji, there is one last question we have.
Last?
One last question in YouTube. Krishna Maharaj, we don't have any association of devotee, then what to do?
You read Prabhupada's books every day. You'll have association of Prabhupada. Just like we just read Bhagavad Gita. We just had association of Prabhupada here. Okay? Or you go to ISKCON Vrindavan TV, then you'll have association of like, let's say, Bhagavatam class. That is association. There is what you call Bapu and Vani. You can associate physically with a devotee, or you associate with a devotee from his instructions. That is Vani. And Vani association in the instruction is more important. Because sometimes we try to associate, but we just want to enjoy that association and not following the instructions of the devotee. So following the instruction is
Be mute.
who is that?
Please mute yourself if someone is.
Whose baby is that? Association means more important is the instruction. Like we're associating with Krishna by reading Bhagavad Gita. We're associating with Prabhupada by reading his books. You're associating with your Guru Maharaj if you hear his lectures and following his instructions. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj, there are questions, lot of questions coming.
No problem with me, I told you.
So one question,
It's up to
Maharaj.
you when you want to stop.
Yeah. When one question we have, Maharaj, can you please explain how to donate without creating karma? Do we
How to-
create karma when we donate our old stuff?
Old stuff?
Yeah. Do we create karma?
No, but there are different levels of, you can donate in the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. It's like in India, you drive in Delhi, there's a car, and then someone will knock on your window, and then say, that means, I'm very hungry, give me some money or something. We don't know what they're gonna do with the money, because sometimes this is like a syndicate. Have you seen the movie Slam Dog? Millionaire? Yeah, there's something like that. Anyway, Prabhupada says also if you give if you give a beggar money, usually a beggar should be only in one spot. He will not be moving. But in India, some beggars, they will pull on your dhoti or pull on your sari to get some money. No, that is not. You should not give to those. That is like professional beggars. If you give donation, and usually, I'm sorry, people give donation, they want recognition. They give something and, hey Prabhu, be sure you mention my name, okay? if I give money, I'm not gonna give again if you don't mention my money, okay? You don't get so much credit. If you give donation and you don't want to be named, you get so much effect. Krishna knows what you're giving. So if you want to give it for Krishna conscious cause. Okay? You want to give a donation, your old clothes, maybe if it's still usable, you bring it to India. You can give it to the sadhus there. There's a lot of sadhus. They don't have blankets in winter time. I know one devotee, he will collect donations, and the donors who's giving the money, they know that it's going to be used for blankets, especially winter time. The sadhus in Vrindavan, they don't have any shelter, and they're given these umbrellas or whatever. If you give it to somewhere in the street, they can get benefit, but not spiritual. Give it to Krishna conscious cause. Okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, there is one, I think, last question we have. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. How can we not get angry at ourselves for our weaknesses, but still encourage ourselves and keep going?
For example,
They don't give any example here.
how can you not get angry at yourself because of it, but still encourage ourselves and keep going? So you will not. You have to be inspired. You need the association of devotees, because in the association of devotees, all the good qualities you will be able to also get. This anger is mode of passion and ignorance. When you're in association of the devotees, you'll get encouraged. You'll become enthusiastic. If you have weaknesses, it's good that you're acknowledging that you have weaknesses. So the best way how to get out of your difficulties is to associate with the devotees. Okay? Keep going. If you're feeling down, associate with the devotees. Read Bhagavad Gita. Chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Come to the mandir. Visit the holy dham. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, I think those are the questions we had. We normally stop at 8:30.
Good.
But, which is now. But if you want, I think we can continue maybe for another 10 minutes, I think.
Any other questions there from our Zoom?
Zoom. Okay. I think there is one. There is one question.
Please accept humble obeisances. This is Ras Vilas Das.
I would like to see your lotus face. Where are you?
I am in Utah, Maharaj. This is Ras Vilas Das from Salt Lake City, Boise.
All right. Hari Bol, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. It's good to see you.
But I cannot see you.
Yeah, my video is on somehow. I don't know why. Because the PowerPoint is on. That's
Take that power up point, Prabhuji. You have so many things in there.
yeah.
Our monitor, please take off this PowerPoint so I can see the.
Remove screen share.
No, I can see you now. I can see you. I can see you. All right.
Okay. Maharaj, I have a question. How do we know that we are getting over our envy during our sadhana? how do we start realizing that, okay, slowly we are getting over our envy?
There's a good question. How do you know that you are getting rid of your envy? When you started to praise devotees, when you started to give more of your time to those who need your help or service, when you become open up. Usually an envious person is like close to himself only, is very selfish. When you know that you are becoming selfless, when you know that you're ready to help anyone and everyone, envy is almost not there anymore. Envy is selfish. Envious people, they only want for themselves. They don't want anybody. Everyone is their enemy. When you see that everyone is your friend and you become friend for everyone, no more envy. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Just one more small question.
Small one? Okay.
One is oftentimes we are faced with a situation where you are serving devotees or you are doing service to temple, and then, for example, your chanting is affected sadhana. So which one is more important at that point of service or sadhana?
Prabhupada says health first, then sadhana, then service. First, you must be healthy. No COVID, okay?
Yes.
Health means you only eat what is necessary to keep the body and soul together. Don't overeat. Don't eat too much, so that you can get up for Mangal Artik. Then you can chant your rounds properly. If you eat too much, then you're sleepy during your japa. And why do we chant? To ask service from Krishna. Service to Krishna means service to the devotees. If we're gonna be given, let's say you are chanting, and then someone asks you, "Hey, Prabhuji, I need some help. I need to lift up something for Krishna," and you say, "I'm sorry, Prabhu. Don't you see I'm chanting? Leave me alone. I want to chant." No, leave your chanting and go and help that person. I've seen devotees like this. No, that is the result of your chanting. You are ready to do any service, and then you can chant again. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we stop here, my dear monitor.
Haribol Prabhu, yes, we can stop here. 8:35.
Thank you very much for your kindness to let me have your association.
So Maharaj will be coming to ISD in person on Sunday. So please come again and have darshan, association of Maharaj, and get his blessings. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ke
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardana Swami Maharaj ki.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. We'll end the broadcasting now.